shoulder, little half moon circles. Breathing in, breathing out. Just beginning to feel into the throat, to the neck, upper back and shoulders. Establishing breath, guiding the movement. Let's bring the chin to the chest, lift the head, circle out the shoulders a little bit. Good morning. Good. Reverse the roll. And extend those arms to the sides. We'll just take a little side stretch here. So we're going to start by walking that left hand out and just kind of tipping the whole pelvis right onto that left hip if possible. Good. And then, so again, this is sort of like triangle pose, right? Where we tip the pelvis. You want to make sure both sides of the spine are equally long. And then gently release that right outer thigh towards the floor. Good. And just start to, again, make sure you're not pulling on the knee in any way, but just start to feel that traction through the right side body. You might even put a little tiny bit of pressure really close to the hip. Just watch the knee. If you're worried about the knee, you can just take the foot a little bit wider. Good. And then just take the leg a little wider so you still get the stretch, but with a little less compromise to the knee. You can also extend that right arm alongside the temple. Good. Breathing in. We're going to get a little bit of side stretching in today. And then feel that length, that opening. Breathing in. Draw the navel, draw the ribs back towards the spine. Maybe let the head feel weighted towards the shoulder without the shoulder popping up, right? Just noticing that shoulder. You might even come down onto your elbow if that's accessible to you. Good. And then from here, let's circle the arm down and walk the hands forward so that right foot can come back in front of the left leg. Svastikasana, right? And breathing in, just kind of hinging from the hips. So you've got that forward tilt, right, of the pelvis. Really important to get into the hips here. Breathing in. This is where it might be nice to have the chair to support that lift in the heart. Good. Exhale. Bring the navel towards the spine, and as you do so, try to draw the rib cage in and try maybe pressing the outer thighs towards the floor. I'm also pressing into the feet. So the legs are pressing down as the navel, the rib cage draw back to send the heart up. Good. And then maybe exhaling, just feeling into the sensations in the body. Again, it's early, right? So just kind of tuning in. We're not forcing, we're not striving. Good. We're just listening in. Working with this element of flow. Exhale, bring the navel, bring the rib cage in towards the spine. And then inhale, start to walk the hands back in, lean back. Exhale, we're going to tip the pelvis back here. Good, and bring the feet together. Nice. And all we're going to do is just kind of lift the heels of the feet away from the floor and then bring the knees and the chest towards each other. Release. So they're just very subtle. It's not like ballistic. It's very gently, really compressing, right? Thighs and chest towards one another, drawing in through the belly. Release, inhale. So bring the rib cage in, exhale, engage the abdomen to pull the knees in. Trying to keep the knees as close together as possible. We'll do this 3 more times. Inhale down, exhale. You might even take the wrists and squeeze thighs to chest. So you get that release, that opening in the back. 2 more times. Release. Exhale. Squeeze. Beautiful. Good. And then from here, let's stretch the legs out. Let's just take a wide angle pose. Shake out the legs a moment. Circle thighs in and out. Get some movement through the hips. And then bring that left leg in front of the right leg. Good. Right arm out to the side. Tip the whole pelvis over to the side. Extend the arm. You don't have to, right? You can also just keep the hand by the hip. And then start to release that left thigh out and down. See if you can weight to the left sitting bone. So it is going to kind of pull everything over to the left a little bit. Maybe that right elbow can lower towards the floor if that doesn't feel too much. You've also got, I've got the chair here, right? That helps to just kind of lift the side body. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Can you draw the navel, the rib cage back towards the spine? This is really what gets us into the twisting muscles. They're deeper abdominal muscles. One more deep breath in. If you'd like to, weight the head. That's going to give you a little bit of traction through the left side of the neck. Circle the top arm. If your hand is down here, just kind of walk the hand out in front of you, shifting the weight forward. So again, right? The feet are right underneath the knees. Tip the pelvis forward so you're angling the sacrum away from the floor. You have the chair if you'd like to keep the heart up. Navel rib cage, draw back, so you want to support that lower back. Activate the abdomen. Breathe in, lift the heart, pressing the outer thighs down towards the floor, pressing through the feet. Activate that lower belly. Really important for supporting the lower back, but also the lift in the heart, the length in the spine. One more deep breath in, maybe exhaling a little further into the sensation, just exploring that edge of sensation. We're not pushing through it, we're not avoiding it, we're just kind of exploring it, getting curious. Take another deep breath in, lift the heart. Exhale the navel, the ribs back towards the spine, walk the hands in. Come back to an upright position. Once again, we're going to shift the pelvis back. So we want to tip the pelvis back just behind the sits bones. Come up onto the ball of the foot or the tippy toes. Good. Breathing in. And again, we want to sort of scoop out the lower belly, retract the ribs, and pull the knees into the chest. And really just kind of get that very subtle but concentrated action in the abdomen. Inhale, you can cross the ankles if that feels a little bit more appropriate. Inhale to release, exhale, pull in. Sometimes it helps, right, to take the arms out or up. Exhale, concentrate the energy in your center. Breathe in. Try to relax the head, neck, and shoulders. 2 more times. Inhale. You might even take the fingertips down, relax and soften the shoulders. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. Beautiful. So if the ankles aren't crossed, maybe you can cross the ankles now. We're going to tuck them underneath. Come forward onto hands and knees. Beautiful. Scooch those knees back underneath the hips. And let's start in child's pose here. Just lowering the hips to the heels, walking the arms out in front of you, just finding some shoulder flexion here. You can also place the hands one on top of the other. And rest the forehead on your top hand. Just take a few breaths, kind of really breathing into the back of the body. Billowing the back. Exhale, gather the energy in the abdomen, but soften through the hips, soften through the knees. If again you're working with knee stuff, feel free to take prone shavasana, right? Where you just kind of extend those legs out, hip distance apart. Same position, right? But just extending the legs and just waggle out the hips a little bit and see if you can really feel the breath moving into the back body. So connecting with the breath, inhale. Exhale. 2 more breaths. And very gently, just walking the hands back a little bit. Then we can come up onto hands and knees, either from child's pose, right? Or from prone shavasana. And we'll take a little cat-cow, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Breathing in, draw the groins, the inner thighs back towards the sitting bones, and the sternum, the heart forward through the shoulders, gazing off the tip of the nose. Exhale, scoop the tailbone, hollow the abdomen, the chest, and release the head and neck. Inhale, stretch the hips back and the heart forward. Gaze off the nose, so the eyes are looking off the tip of the nose as the crown is reaching to the sky. Exhale, scoop the tailbone and really billow the back. Press into the hands, broaden the space between the shoulder blades, drop the head, release the neck. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, neutral spine, flex the toes. We're going to come into Vajrasana. Just kind of shifting the hands back underneath the shoulders, hips back towards the heels. Spread the toes, see if you can get some spread through the ball of the foot. If it's possible, walk the hands up, right, and place the hands right by your hips. So you get that stretch in the soles of the feet. If you're not working with that pose because of the knees, you can also do this on a chair where I'm just walking, right, the feet back by the behind or underneath the chair and coming onto the ball of the foot, right? Just so you can get that sense of, without compressing to the knees, just get that stretch in the ankles, flexion in the toes to the extent possible, but no pressure, right? And a little stretch in the plantar fascia in the soles of the feet. One more deep breath in, good. And we'll shift into downward facing dog. So shift or walk your hands forward, good. Exhale your hips back. You can also work with hands on the chair, walking the feet back, coming into your downward facing dog, right? In this, with support of the chair. So finding that maybe first downward dog of the day, bend your knees, lift your heels, bend your knees a little bit, and take those hips back. So the sternum, right, is still kind of stretching towards the thumbs. I lift the gaze. And the hips are reaching back. So just like our cat stretch, right there, the groins are kind of reaching back towards the sitting bones. So you have a little tipping forward at the tail of the pelvis. The heart is shifting a little forward. And again, you might shift your gaze between your hands or your thumbs. Exhale the navel, the rib cage, lift into the body, reach the hips back. Try to hold the integrity of the shoulders so you're not sinking through the shoulders. Doesn't help the shoulder joint over time, right? We really want to integrate the shoulder joint. We want to preserve the mobility of the shoulder joint, but strengthening the muscles that encapsulate that shoulder joint. And we'll reach those hips back, lower the heels to the floor. You might just pedal out the legs if that feels appropriate to you. And just feel into the seat, whatever posture you take, whatever it looks like, right? Just feel into it and establish your breath. Come back to the breathing. The breath guides us into places of sensation within the body, right? Direct your attention and then the breath with the attention to those places of sensation. Let's take one more deep breath in here. Find that length, find that extension. Exhale, gather the energy in the lower abdomen. And then inhale, lift your heels, shift your gaze forward, bend your knees, take your hips back, and begin to saunter, step, walk the feet up to your hands. Hands can come to shins, hand can come to the seat of the chair. You just take your extended forward bend. Beautiful. Exhale, ragdoll pose, soften the knees. And tip the pelvis forward so the navel feels like it's sliding towards the knees. And then drape the chest around your thighs. And release the head, release the neck. Good. Let the arms hang, let the shoulders dangle towards the ears. And see if you can just feel that release into gravity. One more breath. And we'll soften the knees, drop the hips, hands to thighs, billow the back, stepping into the heels. Exhale, really draw into the belly, retract the ribs, start to walk the hands up the thighs, root through the feet, unfurl the heart, inhale, reaching through the crown of your head. Exhale, arms by your sides. Beautiful. Let's bring the hands together at the heart. Good, Namaskarasana. Sammashtatihi, equal standing. Just feeling into the ground of the feet, the strength, the power, right? The trunk, if you will, of the legs, rooting down to support that kind of rise, that lift, that buoyancy in the heart. Bring the navel, bring the lower ribs back into the body to really strengthen that core. Good, rising through the crown, softening the throat, the jaw, the chin. Beautiful. Soften the gaze inside of the body. And we'll take another deep breath in. Exhale. Release the arms. Let's take the arms to the sky or out to the sides. Inhale. Hinging from the hips. Again, I'm going to soften the knees, take the pelvis forward so you've got that release in the lower back. Hands to the chair, hands to the earth, bow. Inhale, half lift. So again, if possible, extend the legs, pulling up on those knees. And we'll start by lunging that left leg back. Right foot forward, left leg back. Beautiful. Let's take that back knee to the earth, and we'll just stretch out through the toes. Release the hips forward. So again, right, see if you can tip the pelvis forward, bending into that front knee. Keep the heel on the floor. You always have access to the chair if you need it. So I'm just releasing the hips. Let gravity do the work here. Good. Those of you who'd like to, you can come into a little bit more of a lift in the chest, if you will. So a little bit more of that namesake, right, of the pigeon pose. Stepping into the front heel. Lift and draw into the belly, so pull back through the lower belly and send, so the pelvis is still tipping forward, right? So you want to capitalize on the natural curve of the lower spine, but then draw into the abdomen, send that energy to the heart. Good, maybe working with blocks, seat of the chair, and send the heart up and back. The head goes back. One more deep breath in, and we're going to release a little bit more into the hips, if that's feasible for you. And then Ardha Hanumanasana, let's take the hips back. And just start to stretch out that front leg, pulling up on the kneecap, drawing into the belly. So this is like your cat stretch here, right? Cow is the extension, cat pose is the flexion of the spine, the rounding of the back. Maybe peel the toes, the ball of the foot up away from the floor. This is pretty intense. Good, and then come forward. We're gonna step into a high plank position. Let's start with the knees on the ground. So I'm just grounding the hands. Again, on the chair, forearms on the chair. Do what you need to do for yourself, taking that right knee back. Take a deep breath in. Good. And we're going to shift our weight forward into this high plank position. Push into the hands, pull into the belly. And then exhale, shift the hips back between the heels. So just forward and back a few times, articulating hips and shoulders. Inhale, shift your weight forward. Make sure the head isn't pulling on the neck, right? And then exhale, hips back between the heels. One more time. Inhale, forward. So a little bit of flexion in the wrists where the shoulders come a tiny bit forward of the wrists without hunching the shoulders, right? I'm really drawing up on the arms, lifting and drawing into the belly. And then this time, flex your toes. Exhale, shift your hips back, taking downward facing dog. Again, you might pedal out the legs, whatever you need to do for yourself this morning. Noticing your body. Does it need a little bit of movement? Do you need to get into certain places? Or finding stillness, right? Might be a preferred option this morning. And noticing the breath, just filling up the internal space with awareness, with breath, with energy, with space, with light, good, with heart, with compassion, with kindness. One more breath. Lift your heels. If you're coming from child's pose, come onto hands and knees, gazing forward towards the hands. Bend your knees, take the hips back, and begin to saunter. Step, walk the feet up to your hands. Again, you might take the hands to the seat of the chair. Weight forward in the ball of the foot, extended forward bend, taking the heart out, gaze off the nose. Lift your knees, lift your thighs, exhale, draw into the belly, and bow. Maybe just means taking the head to the seat of the chair, or folding all the way forward. Soften your knees here. Shift your weight back into the heels, and then root through the feet. Get that lift in the belly. Exhale. Inhale to unfurl. Rising up through the heart. Exhale, shoulders soften back, brain softens back. Bring the hands to the heart. Breathe in. Exhale. Reach the arms to the sky or out to the sides or in front of you. Exhale, fold. Good. Fold from the hips and bow. Inhale, extended forward bend. Again, finding or feeling into whatever works for you. Left foot forward, right leg back, lower that back knee to the floor. Good, take a deep breath in. So I'm going to take that left foot just a little further forward so that the heel stays on the floor as I shift my hips forward as I let gravity do the work of drawing the hips towards the earth. Step into that front heel to draw into the lower belly, right? So we're not bringing the hips back, we're inviting the hips to go forward, but we're using the action, the strength, the power of the front leg to send energy into the abdomen. Again, working with blocks, fingers to the floor, hands to the chair, to take the heart up as the hips go forward. So I'm kind of dragging this left heel back, trying to draw the left heel back, the back knee kind of slides forward, the back hip slides forward. Inhale, the heart rising, right? So very different from kind of collapsing into your joints. Yeah, get that lift in the abdomen, send the heart back, right? There are different options here. Hips go forward, both hips, but especially that right hip. Drawing forward, that left hip drawing back as you soften the pelvis towards the earth and the heart towards the sky. And gently release, Ardha Hanumanasana. Again, hands to the earth or seat of the chair, or walk the hands back, extend that front leg. Breathe in, make sure that left hip dials back. Toes can peel away from the floor, ball of the foot, roll to the back of the heel. Really engage this thigh, this quadricep, the quadricep muscles, right? Important in helping to find that stretch, that length in the back of the leg. It's pretty intense. And then shifting your weight forward, let's come into our plank, high plank position. If you'd like to this time, straighten out the legs, stepping that left leg back. Take a deep breath in. Beautiful. Exhale. We're going to bend the knees and take those hips back. Inhale. Straighten the legs, lifting the heels and shifting the weight forward. Good. Take a breath in. Billow the back. Exhale. Bend the knees. Drag the hips back. Exhale. Lift the heels. Straighten the legs. Good. Scoop the tailbone. Drawing into the belly. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Last one. Straighten it all out. Shift your weight forward. Just finding this articulation in the joints. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. Let's step the feet together here. So we'll take 3-legged dog, extending one leg. We'll take the right leg up to the sky. So reach that right leg out behind you. You can do this from hands and knees as well. Try to keep the hips square here, right? So we're not tipping. Just keep the hips square and press that right thigh up towards the flesh of the hamstrings to open up the hip. Extend those arms, extend those arms. Lift your left heel. Bring that right leg through, pulling into the chest, right foot to right thumb. Maybe you have the hands to the chair. Good, spin the back toes out and the heel in. So now have a little extra rotation through the hip. Step into the front heel, so you might have the hands on the chair, right? Step into the front heel and extend your front leg. I've got the back toes turned out slightly with a little extra rotation through the hip, but I want to make sure that the pelvis is still square to the front leg and or the chair. Bend the knee. So we're just bending that front knee over the heel and then re-extending. Drawing the hip back. Inhale, make sure there's no torque to the back knee. So the back toes are turned in, right knee following the direction of the toes. Exhale, step into the front heel, dial the hip back. Inhale, bend your right knee. Find that extension through that hip. And exhale, straighten. Really nice. Now we're going to shift into triangle pose. That right hand can come to the inside of the foot to a block or the chair. Keep rolling this left hip forward. Lift and draw into the belly and now rotate the torso. Keeping this left hip rolling forward. I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit so you can really find that rotation. beautiful length through the side body. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, keep pulling up on the right knee. So again, right, having the chair is kind of nice because it lets pull on the hamstring. If you want to come a little further, work with a block, right? Same action, right? But the hand is on the floor. Use the legs, power the legs to really bring that lift, that energy to the abdomen, and that opening, twist to the belly, opening through the heart. One more deep breath in. Exhale, let's look down. Bend your right knee. We're going to square off the hips. Good, square off those hips here, and we're going to step forward and take Virabhadrasana 3. So this is Warrior 3, lifting that back leg. I love the chair here because it really helps to power the standing leg, right? If you're not working with the chair, you might be working with hands on the floor, but really stepping into that front heel and lifting the leg, right? Warrior 3, your chest is lifting a little bit. So I kind of like to get that. You might come up to the chair, inhale down to the feet. Up to the chair, down to the feet. Inhale down, exhale up. Right, try not to use the arms so much, but just a nice way to really strengthen and power the standing leg. One more breath. Exhale, bring the knee, the back knee, all the way into the chest, squeeze, and lower the foot to the floor. Good, take a deep breath in, extended forward bend. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, sweep high. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold, hands to the earth. Bow. Inhale, extended forward bend. Again, hands can come to the seat of the chair. And exhale, lunge the right leg back, this time with the left leg forward. Spin the back toes out and the heel in. So again, you might be working with your blocks. You might be working with the seat of the chair. Step into the front heel and extend that front leg. So the back knee is following the direction of the toes. Turn the back toes in. Try to keep this right hip, right side of the pelvis rolling forward, but the thigh is rotating open from the hip. I'm going to lift the back heel a tiny bit as I come forward. Exhale, step into the front heel. Pull up on this front knee, left knee as you come back. One more time. Breathe in and out. Beautiful. Shift that left hand to the inside of the foot or the forward edge of the chair. Good. Keep this back hip rolling forward. Lift and draw into the abdomen, retract the rib cage, and find that rotation through the torso. So it's like a corkscrew, right? The right hip is rolling forward, the right lung is rolling up. And then try to relax and soften the shoulder. So this is going to give you a little bit more traction in the hamstrings with the hand down. If you have a little bit more height, right, that allows just a little bit more freedom, I think, to really power this left leg. Engage the knee, try not to lock. We'll take another couple of breaths. Try not to use that lower hand too much for stability. Really power the legs and draw into the belly. Inhale, lift, navel to spine. Exhale, square the shoulders, square the hips. We're going to bend into that front knee and pivot or spin on the ball of the back foot. Inhale, ground through that left leg and extend that right leg behind you. Virabhadrasana 3, so you want to lift the heart here. Inhale. So you might have the hands, right, on the seat of the chair. Inhale, we're going to hinge from the hip to come down. Exhale to lift the heart up. Inhale, you want to tip the pelvis forward. Really step into that standing heel. Exhale, use the back muscles a little bit here. Try not to sink into the hip. One more time. Inhale down. Good. Step into the heel. Exhale, power up. Inhale and exhale. Let's hug that right knee all the way into the chest. Find some height, some lift, and lower the foot to the floor. Breathe in. Beautiful. Exhale. Bow. Woo. Just really powering the legs, strengthening the legs. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, arms by your sides. Really lovely. And let's just take the feet nice and wide here. I think it's important, well, I'll just go by my own experience with everything going on in the world right now, just the grounding, the power, the strength in the feet and the legs, and just really kind of anchoring in the body seems to be really helpful in finding just feeling that internal anchoring, right? So let's take a wide angle pose. Nice, I've got the toes turned in at a side angle, grounding through the ball of the foot, stepping into the inner heels, and creating a little bit of space in the pelvis. Take the arms out to the sides. Inhale, lift the heart. Good, exhale, let's bring the hands to the hips. Tip the pelvis forward. You can work with the chair again, placing the hands on the seat of the chair, or take the hands to the earth, walking the hands a little forward. Good, and then I'm kind of rolling the thighs in a little bit, shifting my weight to the inner foot, inner heel stepping down, and drawing those hips back, the groins back. Same thing, right, that we did in downward dog. So I call this an expanded downward dog. It's really drawing those hips back, shifting the weight way back into the heels. Try to relax the toes. Good. Inhale, find that length through the side body, and then lift the navel, lift the rib cage, release the head and neck. So no weight on the hands, right? But I want to relax the shoulders so the hands are on the floor. And I'm just taking those hips as far back behind the feet as you can comfortably. So you're going to really feel that lift in the knees and the thighs. One more deep breath in. Inhale, shift your weight a little forward, hands under the shoulders or on the seat of the chair. Let's start by spinning the right toes out at a slight angle. Lutasana. So this is your side stretch. Good, bend into that right knee, spider pose. Keeping the heel on the floor, the right heel. Inhale, lift, right toes in. You can crab walk the hands over a little bit to the side. Good. Left toes out and bend into that left knee. Knee following the direction of the toes. So we're just getting into the inner thighs a little bit here. Crab walk the hands. Right toes out, bend that right knee. Use the hands to support, good, some of the upper body weight so you can get into the hips without compressing knees, right? Keep that left heel on the ground, just spin the toes out as you come to your left side. Good, very lovely. Inhale, turn the left toes in, bring the hands back through center. So you can take this kneeling if you'd like to. This is just going to be a little bit of a twist. So I'm just going to take that right hand underneath the right shoulder and rotate to the left. Tip the pelvis a little bit here. Good, find a nice little twist, left arm to the sky. If you feel like taking a little bit further, you can hinge towards that left leg, taking the hand all the way opposite hand to foot, right? Breathe in, exhale. A little further, you lower the elbow towards the earth. Breathe in, exhale. Release, inhale, lift the heart. Other side. Exhale, left hand, sort of center chest. Right hand just comes to the sacrum, tip the pelvis, rotate through the belly, right arm to the sky. Breathe in. Exhale. Maybe that left hand comes to right foot. Inhale. Extend that left leg. Exhale. Maybe the elbow lowers to the floor. Inhale, roll from the belly. Exhale. Come back to center. Inhale. Good. Toe heel the feet a little closer together. We're going to take the toes out, heels in. If you'd like to here, you can work with a little bit of elevation underneath the heels of your feet. Good, so that we come into Mandalasana. We're going to lower the hips all the way down to the earth. Or just lower the hips all the way down to the earth so again you don't have the flexion, the deep flexion or compression in the knees. Good, and we're just going to take the torso through those inner knees. So I've got the hips all the way on the floor, but you might be in your squat, that's fine. And just walk the hands forward. This is the same action that we took in Navasana, where you're drawing the lower ribs into the body. You can roll the shoulders forward, but without hunching the shoulders, right? And then hinge from the hips, and see if you can just kind of draw yourself through and bring those knees into the shoulders. Just a nice stretch for the back. Take a deep breath in. Beautiful. Exhale. Walking the hands in towards the hips. Good. We're going to roll over onto, let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's going to roll over onto one side here, and I'm going to take, so let's start on the left side and extend that left leg out in front of you. So the heel, right, outer heel is going to press left, outer heel is going to press towards the floor. My right foot is behind my left leg, right, and I'm going to take that left arm out. Now, I like the leg, right, because you can use this leg. We're going to lift the hips off the ground, straighten this lower leg, right, and press through the hands. So it's kind of like Vashisthasana. Inhale, lift the hips. So I'm using this back leg to support. Exhale, lower. So if this does not work for you, you can lower the forearm to the ground. It's a little bit more stabilizing, takes you off the wrist, and more stabilizing for the shoulder. Inhale, right, so this leg is slightly bent to begin with and straightens as you lift and lower, okay? And if coming onto the arm at all is a problem for the shoulder, all you're going to do is lift the leg that we're actually using to ground. If you're lifting the hips, instead of lifting the hips, you're just going to lift the leg, okay? And like that protects the shoulder. You're not putting weight pressure on the shoulder by lifting the hips. So we're going to do this a couple more times, 3 more times. So we're going to lift. Good. Let's exhale, lift. Inhale, down, finding some length through the side body. Exhale, lift. Inhale, down. One more time. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale. Nice. And just stay down and see if you can release the hips, stretch out the leg, press into the hand to get that lift through the side body, and you might feel a stretch. Right, take one more deep breath in, bringing the navel, bringing the rib cage back. That's where you get this really nice stretch to the side body. Good. We're going to bring the heel or the foot of the straight leg in towards the hips, and then just take that right foot in front of you or to the outside of the knee. So I have a little bit of elevation under the hips. Good. So this is Marichyasana C. You can straighten this left leg if you'd like to. The right leg is crossed in front, and I'm going to find that rotation to the right. Good. So we want to make sure that this right leg that's crossed in front, right? If it's too much, you can take the foot to the inside of the knee, but try to hook the heel to the outside of the knee. Roll the thigh in and the hip down. That's the important part, right? Sits bones on the floor and lift through the belly, lift through the torso, roll through the belly. Breathing in. Right hand behind you. Beautiful. Lots of twisting poses, just wringing out the nonsense, wringing out just the stuff that we don't want accumulating in the body, the frustrations, maybe the anger, maybe the sadness. Good. Breathing in, just kind of moving that energy. We're not trying to discard it or throw it away or ignore it, right? We want to process it. So part of the way we do that is just kind of getting into the body and just kind of squeezing the places that feel tight or bound or sticky or stuck or nauseous. Breathe in. Send it some breath. Exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Good. We'll throw this one in for Martha. Double pigeon. Slide that left foot out a little bit, and the right foot can stack on top of the left knee. Good. Breathing in. Lift the heart, maybe coming forward. So you want to make sure you're not on the height here. Or if you are, that maybe you're in Swastikasana, the foot's on the ground. Good, and just support the forward tilt of the pelvis. So this is going to bring some sensation right into the outer hips. Breathing in. Good, exhale. This is where we bring some compassion, good kindness, gentleness, right? Generosity of spirit. Just noticing that which shows up in the body. Navel, ribcage retract. Good, maybe you curl in a little bit. Just noticing the sensations and see if you can breathe into the sensation. Give it some space, right? These are like our feelings. Just allowing the feeling, the felt sense, good, in the body to be felt, to be touched, to be known, to be understood, to be seen. Good, to be heard. Exhale. And what happens if we allow it, soften, good, accept, receive, open up to it. Good. Does it get less intense, more intense? Does it stay the same? Does it shift? Does it shape shift? Just noticing, breathing in. Good. Relax and soften the shoulders. Exhale. And then extending those arms. Walk them back in. Inhale. Come back to an upright position. Really nice. Good. And with the exhalation of the breath, bring the knees together. Okay. And we're going to do, just again, the same thing we did before, the very beginning of class. You can cross the ankles if you'd like to, but keep the thighs rolling in towards one another, or just keep the feet together. Bring the rib cage, the lower ribs draw in to the body and back, and then hug the thighs to the chest. And see if you can get that action. Good. It's a pulse, right? You're not using momentum. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull in. Try not to use the shoulders or the head. Inhale. Focus the attention on cinching the waist and pulling the thighs and the chest together. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. And then from here, let's shift our weight onto the right hip this time. Good. Right hand goes out. Right leg goes out, so I've got a slight bend in the knee. I'm pushing down into the outer heel, right? This is we're making the case for a Vashisthasana here. Again, strengthening the arms and the legs, right? This back foot is going to press down into the floor, and then as I lift the hips, I want to really extend that lower leg and pull up. Try to integrate the shoulder. Inhale, down. Good. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. So you might be on your forearms, right? Exhale, lift. Either the leg or the hips. Inhale, exhale. Good. 3 more times. Inhale, down. Exhale. Push with the back foot. Lift the hips, lift the hips. Inhale, exhale. Just really integrate the shoulder. So strengthening the upper arm. Inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, let's all come down. And if you can, maybe you use the chair, right? Or the hand on the floor. Try to get that lift through the side body here as you lower, right? Release the hip. Let the rib cage sort of pop out a little bit, but lift through the chest. And just see if you get a little bit of a side stretch. If you turn towards that outer hand, does that shift things, right? If you find a little bit of a twist through the torso, but keep this left leg rolling back. Then bring that lower knee in. Good. And we're going to take that left foot this time to the outside of the right knee for Marichyasana C. So we're adding in a twist here. Take the foot out and try to drop that left hip to the inside of that right heel. Good. And roll the thigh in towards the torso. Good. You can wrap the elbow. You can hook the elbow to the outside. I'm just kind of holding onto the outer shin and the knee, rolling that in, and then twisting from the belly. Take the rib cage over to the left. Left hand behind you. Breathe in. Good. Exhale. I'm just hooking the heel of the left foot to the outside of that right knee and rolling to the left. Good. Take 2 more breaths. Find that height in the torso. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Double pigeon. Stack that left leg on top of the right this time. Good. Support the knee with something, a cushion, a block between the knee and the foot as needed. And we're going to tip the pelvis forward, walk the hands out in front. Good. Inhale. Nice. Bring the navel back towards the spine. And maybe curling in, you're engaging the abdomen to curl forward. Bring the elbows to the floor. It's really nice if you can just rest the hands on the seat of the chair or sofa. Breathing in, breathing out. If you can tip the pelvis right forward, you're going to get that stretch, that release in the hips, some sensation in the hips. Breathe in. Keep engaging the abdomen, pressing the outer thighs down, the feet down, lifting the belly up. Beautiful. Let's take a couple more breaths. Just noticing the sensations that show up and our tendencies, right, to flee the sensation, to ignore the sensation, to push through it, right? None of which are optimal. But really see if we can invite a little bit of space around the sensation. Notice our tendency to want to react to it in the ways that we do. And just hold some space for that which is showing up. What happens? Does it release its grip a little bit? Maybe it turns into more of a dull ache. And maybe it doesn't shift at all, but we're just allowing some space for whatever's showing up in the body. Can the mind relax into the breath? I'm going to take one more breath. Engage the abdomen here, retract the navel, the belly, the rib cage, walk the hands in, breathe in. Good. And exhale, come back up to an upright position. Release the feet. With just windshield wiping the legs, just releasing the hips a little bit. So taking the feet wider than the hips. Good. Arms into Durgasana. Goddess pose. And then tip the pelvis to one side, lower the knees, release the hips. Tip the pelvis to the other side, keeping the shoulders grounded. Good. And just notice sensations within the hips, around the lower back, the side body. There's an option of making sure that back leg rotates in and just taking the outer foot to that top thigh, just above the knee. Good. Try not to arch the back. See if you can keep drawing into the belly. And just find some traction through the iliopsoas here. And maybe shift sides. Feet are wide here. Good. Again, make sure you're not pushing on the knee, that the thigh's rolling in, that the hip is coming up, but the abdomen is drawing back. Again, just finding some deep stretching through the side body, whatever that looks like for you. And coming back to center. I'm just going to take restorative rest here, turning the toes in towards each other, heels out. Let the thighs fall in towards one another. Good. And you might roll up the blanket, just place it at the top of the thighs so that the lower back is on the floor. When you extend, lift the knees, extend the legs towards the corners of your mat. Right? You have some support for the thighs, little toes released to the floor. Arms by your sides, put a blanket on top of you. Right, again, this is just to make sure that you don't get cold. As you take your final posture, your final seat, I want to try to get as much of the back body against the floor as possible. So elevate the legs if you need to, elevate the thighs so the pelvis is tipping back, so the lower spine meets the earth, at least most of it or some of it. The head, the only part really that's not on the floor here is the neck, right? You want to preserve the natural curve of the neck. Put something underneath the neck, another towel if you need to, so that we can really ground our nervous systems. Really important when the world feels chaotic, or however it feels around you, out of control, unknown, allowing or inviting the nervous system to find an anchor, right? To feel like it has support. Human connection is a way of supporting and creating safety in the nervous system, feeling that quality of ground, and orienting to our internal environment, finding a sense of stability, strength, and safety within ourselves. So let the body go, and let the body meet the earth in this moment. Right here, right now, we're okay. Allowing the attention to soften, the mind to fall back, the breath to flow softly through the body, irrigating and nourishing and healing, and awareness expanding.